Hi guys, welcome. And what I wanted to touch on today, because so many baby boomers are downsizing and making big changes, which we already did 13 years ago. And what I wanted to talk about, what's the best floor to buy on when you're looking at a condo, top, middle, bottom. And I don't have all the answers, but I have a few things that I can share with you. The pros and cons. I can certainly tell you what it's like to live on the main floor. I can tell you what and that would be in a 4-story building. I can tell you what it's like to live on the 6th floor in a 7-story building and on the 26th floor in a 27-story building. Those are some of the things that we have experienced over the last 12 years, and I'm going to share them with you because you know how the old saying goes. What was it? If I'd have known then what I know now, would we have done what we did? Do you know what? Looking back, we would never have sold our house. We would not have sold our house and gone to a condo. Would not have done it. Now that's us personally. Yeah, probably maybe a little bungalow, 1 level, no pool to maintain and all of that. But anyhow, we are where we are, so I wanted to share that with you guys. Some quick housekeeping. I would really appreciate it if you guys, if you like this video, if you give me a thumbs up, and then of course, hang out with me, hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it, that little button right there. And if you click the little bell, this means that you're going to get an email when I put out a video. And yeah, if you are living in a condo, if you have experienced something, really the good and the bad and the ugly, I call it, please share it with us. Because if you've never done this before, if you're a condo virgin, it'd be really nice to have some of this information before you go out and buy. Okay, so pros and cons of living on the main floor. Well, probably the biggest thing, I'm going to go over the pros first. For us, it was wonderful because we had a little dog, just a little guy who was like 30 pounds, a little overweight. And it was great. On a rainy day, we could just scoot him out the back, and we had a lot of bark mulch on the side, so he could just, within our little fenced part, he could just go to the bathroom there and bring him back in. So that was wonderful. When we have our grandchildren over, it's really nice. It's not a big area. They're technically not supposed to play on the grass, but we have no we have no grass. We have all weeds out there because we're in the back of the building. It seems people forget about us. So that's kind of nice. But if you're looking at a building and you're on the ground floor, on the other side of our building where there's a beautiful courtyard, do not assume that you can play out there, or there's going to be a swing set, or you're going to do a picnic, because I know in our building you can't. So really important, if you're buying on the ground floor because you're attracted to that green space, find out what you can actually do with that green space before that becomes the reason that you're purchasing it. A lot of people are surprised when they moved into our building. The other thing that I love is if you are a bit of a gardener. It's so much easier to be planting things like mind you, on your pavers, okay? But you can water it without worrying about spillage over onto somebody else's deck. It's so much easier to clean and hose down. We actually have access to an outside tap where we are, which I guess is a perk also for living on the ground floor, where I can hose our deck down. Being the Dutch girl that I am, I love clean windows. So I love the fact that I don't have to wait for that annual window cleaning thing that happens. I can pop my screens out and wash my windows once a month for sure, which I really am glad about because I like my clean windows. Now, easy access, that's another thing that is so much easier to come in and out of the building. I mean, I can walk. I don't have to rely on an elevator. Now, we do have an elevator even though we're on the ground floor, and that's because some buildings you will see that ground floors may be elevated a little bit. So in ours, we actually look down on a sidewalk and we kind of look down on the busy street that we live on. But we're not ground level with it. So see how that goes as well. Privacy, that actually is in the con one. That's another story. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so well, cooler in the summer, right? You're down below, so it's cooler in the summer. Emergency services are easier to get to. When fire alarms go off, it's a lot easier just to pop out the door onto your little patio and stand there for a while, or see what's going on rather than go down the elevator. So I really like that. I am looking at my cheat sheet here, you guys. And most of the time, like I say, it's really easy walking in and out of the building. So there's lots of things that I really love about living on the ground floor. It feels more like you're in a house. It just doesn't feel so apartment-like, condo-like. Okay, so go to the cons. Well, security is a big issue. And I know, especially when we're at that time in our lives where I know a lot of my girlfriends have lost their partners and they're alone that are considering making this move. And ground floor would be probably scary for a lot of them as far as feeling secure. But you know, the first thing we did after we moved in is we had a really good security system put into our place. So all the windows are triggered, both the front door and the back door are all triggered. And I've been there home by myself lots of times when my husband's been away, and I have felt very safe and very secure. So I would definitely recommend that if there isn't one in the building already, or that you can just call somebody and have it set up. Some of them do, some of them don't. Have your own put in. It's really worth it for peace of mind. So that's one of the cons. Get a security system put in so you feel safe. The other thing, when you're on the ground floor, see the doors that are around you, okay, that you don't usually have when you're on the second, third, as you go up. You've got doors, side doors, and where people can come in and go out and so forth. How close are they to your suite? How much activity is there? Like, are there people coming and going that you're exposed to as well? You want to check that out. You're on the ground floor, and you know, do people tend to kind of hang out there? And you know, is it like right where your suite is? So check your surroundings on the ground floor. Probably the biggest one on the ground floor, and I've heard people complain about this, and so I know it's a real issue. It isn't for us. Where is the garage door? You know, the garage door into visitors parking, or the garage door that the owners or people living in the condo, the owners would use to get into the parkade. Is it right underneath your suite? And if it is it really well insulated that you're not going to hear it? Or is it something that is just constantly going to be going up and down, and you're going to hear it all rattle and shaking all hours of the night? Can you live with it? So that's something you want to check out, and make sure you kind of just stand there and listen to it. Now, being on the ground floor, depending, like I said, if you are like on a true ground floor and not elevated like we are, you probably are going to have less light coming in. It can get darker as you go down, and so make sure you have a good look at the surrounding as far as trees or fences. That how dark is that going to make your suite once you're on the ground floor? And then, of course, far more noise when you're on the ground floor. It gets a little less as you go up. And privacy is also a big one. And with that, I'm going to share a really kind of cute story. It took me back for a minute. I ran into a gal a few years ago just outside our building. And she said to me, she said, I just wanted to tell you, I just love what you've done with your dining room and the way you've placed your mirror. I really love that. It's so cool. And I'm going, gosh, you know, I've never had her over, and I don't think I've ever invited her into our suite. And I said, and I was kind of taken aback. And I said, well, how did you know how I placed the dining room and the mirror? And she goes, I looked through your kitchen window. Oh, really? And I went, okay, well, so much for privacy. So privacy could be a big issue if you're living on the ground floor, depending. Now, of course, having said that, we're in a corner suite, so we're far more exposed. And we have no wall or no fence to actually give us any privacy on the side. On the front, we're okay because we're elevated up. So there's really, you know, you kind of look down. But on the side, yeah, people can look in. And it's because the way the layout is, we're elevated. So the front window, you're looking down. But when you're on the side, people are almost looking in this way. And so I thought that was kind of comical. So our strata or HOA was nice enough to plant some trees. They planted them too close to our window. So now we've lost some of our light, but we have a little bit more privacy. So that was a good thing. And yeah, less view, you know, depending, be really cautious if you're buying on the ground floor and they're telling you that you're going to have a view of this and this and this. Make sure that you don't have hedges and bushes going up and that are going to ruin your view if there is one. But normally on the ground floor, it depends on what you call views. Some people say gardens. Looking at gardens is fabulous. That's a great view to have. We don't have that great of a view. We've got trees and shrubs, and then beyond that is a fairly busy street. So look at those things, but being on the ground floor, to me, has always felt more like I'm walking into my little bungalow, my little house. And so I've liked it, and with the security, I'm good to go. So anyway, guys, next week I'll pick one of the other two and just maybe give you some of the pros and cons on maybe the 26.4. That one was a real eye opener. So check in for that one, guys. Thanks. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.